Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me introduce myself first. I am Jessa Alcamera Sistoso, a Humanities and Social Sciences student from the patronage of Mary Development School. Today, I am here to talk about one of the most controversial and emotive topic of the contemporary period, euthanasia. Euthanasia is a word coined in as early as 17th century in Greece, which means a happy or a well death. Euthanasia is the act or practice of intentionally killing or ending one's life in order to relieve pain or suffering by means of withholding treatments or withdrawing life support system. Euthanasia is subdivided into three classifications or categories. We have the voluntary. Voluntary euthanasia occurs when euthanasia is conducted given the permission of the patient. Second, the non-voluntary. Non-voluntary euthanasia is euthanasia conducted given the permission or consent of an appropriate person other than the patient. It could either be a descendant of the patient or a part of his family. Third, the involuntary. Involuntary euthanasia occurs when it is against the patient's will. It is what we so-call murder. Euthanasia is further subdivided into two procedural categories. First is the active and the other one is passive. Passive euthanasia is when we withhold treatments that sustain the life of the patient, while active euthanasia, on the other hand, is when we induce something lethal or something fatal to a patient's body to assist his suicide. This is more prone and highly prone to be involved with arguments with regards to religion, moral, ethics, and compassion. Now, just like any other coin, I believe euthanasia has two facets. I believe that we should focus first our thoughts on why should we legalize or not legalize euthanasia. Arguers who are in favor for the legalization of euthanasia would say, first, resources. They say that it makes more sense if we channel the resources from the highly skilled facilitators or staff, hospital beddings, medications, and treatments to a person who is optimistic towards living his life, rather than to a person who is pessimistic and just wish to end his life. Second, humanity. They say that it is more human of us if we allow a person to choose to end his life rather than prolong his agony. While on the other hand, arguers who are against the legalization of euthanasia would say, first, how about the Hippocratic oath of the doctors? It clearly states that I would neither give a deadly drug to anyone who asks for it, nor make suggestions to this effect. Second, moral, ethical, compassionate, and ethical arguments would say that if suicide and murder are considered immoral, then how much more is euthanasia? And while being considered that euthanasia is an assisted suicide, it is a form of murder, a form of suicide. Now, here in the Philippines, euthanasia is a crime. Euthanasia is illegal. Way back here in 1997, the Philippine Senate considered passing a bill trying to legalize passive euthanasia. However, just as what was expected, it faced strong opposition mainly from the church. And if we focus our eyes on the current existing laws, a doctor who assists his patient to die may be charged with malfunction and can hence therefore be imprisoned. According to the 1987 Philippine Constitution, under Article 2, Section 11, it states that the state values the dignity of every human person and guarantees full respect to human rights. And so therefore, it can be concluded that euthanasia is not just contradictory and opposing to the Hippocratic oath of the doctors, but as well as the Constitution. Personally, I would say that euthanasia should remain illegal, even at least here in the Philippines, due to the fact that, first and foremost, Philippines in general is a Christian country, predominated by religious sectors who will for sure hinder the passage and ratification of a certain euthanasia bill. Second, I, as a Filipino, as a human, and as a Christian, I value the Christian doctrine as the foundation of our conviction, just as what I have said earlier. If murder and suicide are considered immoral, then how much more is euthanasia? So much more with euthanasia. According to Pope John Paul II, euthanasia should not be defined or called as false mercy, and is indeed a disturbing perversion of mercy. For him, true compassion comes with sharing another person's pain. It does not kill the person whose suffering we cannot bear. Who are we to say that life is no longer worth living for? Who are we to resort and succumb to euthanasia? Why should we choose to kill the person who is suffering? If that person is suffering, then why don't we kill the pain and not kill the patient? Looking back to what I have mentioned earlier, according to the Constitution, the state recognizes and values the dignity of every human person. I truly am an advocate of dying with dignity. But I believe that dying with dignity is not defined by dying without the necessary need of another person to take care of your mess when you urinate, when you defecate, when you are nearly dying, when you are near at your deathbed. I believe that dying with dignity is all about dying knowing that you have been loved and you have been cared for. That is dying with dignity. Now, before I end this speech of mine, I'd like to quote one of the writings of the British writer Malcolm Muggeridge. I hope everyone would ponder on this one. Life, no matter how low it flickers or how fiercely it burns, it is still a divine flame that no man dare presume to put out. May his motives be ever so human and enlightened. Thank you.